language of women.
Something I always tell my fans, and I really mean this, and coming from me, I know everyone thinks I'm this like sexually charged, you know, pop music maniac, which I am. I didn't begin to enjoy sex until I was much older. I mean, I think about being in high school and having sex, and you're just sort of like, well,
is this it?
Does this feel good? Is this what it's supposed to be? What's
Yeah.
going on down there? How am I supposed to do this? Does it even really feel good? I mean, I don't think it did. I think you just think it's what you're supposed to do, and you're trying to figure out how to be a woman. And I really encourage my fans to wait. You know, wait until you're old enough to really understand what that feels like and what it means.
You know, it's interesting because one of the things that I feel really strongly about is the way that we approach sex ed in this country. I have 2 daughters, and I realize that the only mention of orgasm when there's a discussion about sex is as it pertains to the male and how we can get pregnant.
Right.
There's no mention of a female orgasm. It's just about, look, you can get pregnant from the guy. That's the only time, and I feel like there needs to be a whole dialogue about women and girls knowing their own bodies and experiencing their own bodies.
I think so,
so
but
they can communicate.
Again, I think when you're that young, it's like, you think about how relaxed and how comfortable with a man you have to be to really give yourself. And I just don't know if when you're 17 you really know how to do that. And I think it's important to be aware when you're younger of what you're doing. I think young women like myself, I'm not, you know, analyzing myself at 16 years old when I'm dating a 26-year-old guy. No. You know, you're just sort of having a good time, and you think, oh, the boys down the street are so awful, and this guy's a real man, he's so mature. But let's be honest, even at 26, guys aren't really even real men.
Close, no.
So I think for me, I dated a couple older men. And then as I got older and more mature, my career became more important to me than anything. And anytime anyone got in the way or was destructive or abusive in my life, I just cut them off and focused on my music.
How were you able to do that? Because a lot of people get stuck with the guy as the priority.
Well, my grandmother, who was married to my grandfather for 60 years,
God, amazing.
Amazing. And my parents are still together 30 years.
So you know it's possible.
Oh yeah. Well, divorce is like not an option for me. It's like, I'm gonna get married and
that's it.
That's it. He's stuck with me. I've seen my mother and father stick it out. And there was a time when I was younger when I really thought they might get divorced. They were fighting all the time, and my mother was a mess, my dad was a mess, but they really stuck it out. And now, all this time later, when I'm with them, my parents are more in love now than they've ever been their whole life, and they're just so happy, and that's what I want. And I want to eventually find a man that feels the same way. Divorce not being an option, you know, working through everything together, and even if it is the hardest thing you've ever been through, you stick it out.
I read this thing that you had said that you always felt lonely.
Yes.
And it was great to hear someone else articulate that.
Well, I have begun to cherish my loneliness, and I have sort of since I was around 20 years old, and I'm 25 now, so 5 years of cherished